Ladies and gentlemen, the stock market today is not doing too well, but it could be a lot worse. We're going to get into all of everything that is going on in the capital markets and, of course, give you guys all the updates that you want to know about some of your favorite names in the stock market right now. But first things first, we got to cover the most important thing, and that is, of course, joining our Discord, guys. Again, we talk about trading stocks on this channel quite often, but one of the, and in my opinion, the most important thing to do at the end of the day is get educated. Because, of course, what are you going to do with all of this different information that we're putting out on a daily basis when you don't know how to trade a stock, when you don't know how to trade options, you don't know how to do any of that? And you might be wondering, well, where would I even go to learn about that besides your channel? Well, we have created the perfect place to do that, and that is in our literally free option Discord that is linked down in the description below. It is free to join today, guys. You can get joined up right now, and also you guys can join our premium membership as well if you guys want to get our daily buy and sell alerts on all of the different plays that we're making when we are doing our day trades and everything of that nature. But first things first, and most importantly of all, let's talk SPY. This stock, and of course this indice, I should say, has been seeing a lot of attention as of late, especially with the FMOC meeting coming up, or FOMC, I think I messed that up there, is coming up really soon. And of course, everybody's wondering, is this rate hike that is supposedly, or predicted at least, going to happen, is this going to affect the overall market, and will this affect my trades in the market as well? We can take a look at SPY here, guys, and as you can see, it's been very choppy just over the last couple of days. We're on the daily chart right now. All of these MA lines are what I typically use to measure momentum, to look and see where these stocks, or where whatever given indice I'm looking at, is moving. As you can see here, all of these different MA lines, typically one of the kind of interesting sentiments you can get from these is that if we have a substantial pattern of price action above all of these different MA lines, typically we can see a pretty good movement in a bullish direction. Now, keep in mind, opposite can also be true. If we're below all these MA lines and we see a lot of movement towards the downside, it's likely we're going to see a lot of continued movement in that direction as well. What do we see here? A lot of movement towards the downside below all these MA lines. As you can see, the price action is pretty significantly below that. And of course, bearish kind of tendencies or trends are something that aren't really out of the blue here. If we look at the overall weekly chart, we kind of started here around January 14th. And since then, I've been in a pretty nasty little bear market, almost a death spiral at this point, just continuing to go down further and further. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what is going to happen in the future, right? Again, we are having a very choppy day as far as markets are concerned. Market hasn't closed out yet, about 11:13 a.m. over here on the West Coast, but of course, we still have some hours. We could potentially see a little bit of a comeback intraday. Now, keep that in mind though, because as you can see, we have obviously some news-related stuff going on in the markets that can also affect your overall option trades and just different trades that you're making as well. Really quick though, guys, I want to recommend you guys pick up a free stock with Webull. You guys can potentially get up to 12 free stocks when you use our link down in the description below. If you guys don't already have a brokerage account, it is an amazing brokerage app that you guys can get joined up and be a part of, and I think you guys will really enjoy the overall benefits that comes with as well. But let's talk this little piece of news right here. Stock market news alive updates. Stocks sink and treasury yields surge as Fed meeting gets underway. So the U.S. stocks barreled lower Tuesday as investors prepared for Federal Reserve officials to deliver another jumbo rate hike in their first against persistent inflation. The benchmark SP 500 slid about 1.7% just in the afternoon trading, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average shed about 500 points, or about 1.6% as well. NASDAQ looking at about down about 1.5. Overall, most of the indices are not doing well, and this is what I was talking about, where the market is not unfortunately performing in a way that all of us would prefer. But keep that in mind. That does not mean obviously that we're out of the running yet and everything's obviously doom and gloom. There are some potential positive things on the horizon that could be coming soon, even if you're just looking at the technical analysis that we were talking about earlier when we went over to Webull, but more specifically with the rate hikes. Let's talk about some policy setting measures that could be coming soon as well. So as you can see, the policy setting Federal Open Market Committee kicks off its September meeting today, and it is expected to deal a third straight 75 basis point increase to its benchmark interest rate at the conclusion of discussions on Wednesday. Wednesday. After officials convene, investors will tune in for a speech by, of course, Jerome Powell, who is the Fed chair of the Federal Reserve, for further clues around the pace and magnitude of future hikes. Now, if you're new to the market, or even if you're experienced in the market, you might know or might have heard about rate hikes, right? And you might be wondering, if you're new, what does that mean, right? How is that going to affect me as an investor? What do I need to know in order to combat that? And how will that affect my overall trades? Well, one of the things you need to know is that the market, or the overall stock market, I should say, does not like high interest rates, right? When interest rates go up, we typically see a little bit of a sell-off in the overall market, and we see a lot of pullback in big names and, of course, in big indices as well. One of the other things that we really want to pay attention to is that if that actually doesn't happen, if we don't see a rate hike like everybody is predicting we're going to see, there could be some issues there as well with, of course, potentially a reversal, which a lot of people are not betting on currently, and myself included, I'm not betting on that. Maybe you're one of the crazy people out there who is currently buying calls on weeklies and potentially looking for some upside there if there is a reversal. That is a pretty lottery ticket play, and I would be very, very careful if you're doing that. But again, guys, if you want to know exactly what I'm trading, the way I'm trading, and of course all of our daily option picks that we pay on a daily basis, you guys should join our free Discord, guys. It's literally free to join. You can get in there right now. And overall, I think you guys will really enjoy the benefits that the overall Discord comes with and everything in between. So get joined up if you haven't already, guys. And of course, check that out as well. But like I said, guys, more than likely, the Federal Reserve is going to be raising rates. And when that does happen, in my opinion, we are potentially going to see some pullback here in these large indices. It's more than likely going to happen, right? We're in a highly inflationary environment. And as more and more things continue to happen with overall the combating of inflation, it's very likely, or unlikely, I should say, that we're going to see a lot of recovery in the meantime. Now, again, that's why puts have been paying very, very nicely on a lot of these big names and big indices. But of course, there is room for bounce back days like yesterday, which we saw, which a lot of investors kind of got a little bit riled up with and got confused by. But of course, don't let that fool you for too much longer. We're going to close this out with a little bit of QQQ. Just again, this is pretty much the same exact indice. Obviously, we're tracking a little bit of a different industry here with NASDAQ as well. But looking at all of this, guys, it's pretty bearish indeed from a technical standpoint, from a fundamental standpoint, and pretty much just from an overall macroeconomic lens. You can look at all of this and say that we're in a bit of a bear market right now, and it is likely that things are going to get a little bit worse before they get better. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video, it helps us out a ton. And of course, make sure to obviously check out our free Discord, like I mentioned, with some of the links down in the description below. Other than that, though, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm Kyle with Finance Bro. Take it easy.